I'm gonna tell you something I've never told anyone. 30 years ago, my friends and I spent the night at a cabin. We found the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. Certain passages were recited. It awoke something in the woods. Something evil. I was the only one to escape. But now, the evil has found me.
What is up, everyone? This is Kyle over here at the Horrorphile, and this is the Ash vs. the Evil Dead podcast. This is a podcast where we every week go over a new episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead. We kind of delve into the episode, go over some commentary, kind of go over what the episode's about, talk about it in detail, and there will be a ton of spoilers in this podcast. So fair warning to anybody that's coming into this. Maybe this is the first time you listen to this. We outline the entire episode in its entirety, and we do give spoilers. Like I said, my name is Kyle. My YouTube channel is the Horrorphile. I've got with me JP, also known as Justin Patrick. He is DoubleShotJ.
Don't be calling me that.
Why? Should I call you JP? I mean, what?
I would prefer that. I hate the name Justin.
All right. Well, he's JP then. So, he is over at DoubleShotJ. Every week we'll go ahead and plug this for you guys. Every week we do upload these episodes to our YouTube channels as well, or these do get uploaded to our YouTube channel. Maybe not every week. So if you guys don't have an iTunes feed, they are on iTunes, or you don't have an iPhone, or you don't have a smartphone, you can go on YouTube on a computer, check out our channels, listen to the podcast. But yeah. So what's up, JP?
Man, just recording some podcasts like I'd normally do. I gotta say, man, I haven't really had a chance to say anything about it, but Pittsburgh Steelers, won our first playoff game in the last 5-6, I think, which is pretty cool, even though it was very controversial and it was super intense, and Cincinnati Bengals fans are talking a bunch of smack, even though they're 0-7 in their last playoff appearances. I don't want to piss people off too much. But, I'm really happy about that. I don't think we're going to go into Denver and do much work because of all our injuries and stuff like that. But who knows? By the time you guys hear this, it'll already be over, and we'll already know the results of the next couple playoff games. But I am happy that we got past the Bengals at least this year. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah! So that's sweet. Yeah, I mean, shit. I've been doing pretty much the same with recording podcasts and uploading to my channel. I haven't really uploaded a whole lot this week, but I've been uploading some of my disturbing movies reviews and stuff along those lines. So if you guys are into disturbing movies or video nasties or any of that stuff, I do upload reviews, pretty in-depth reviews of those movies onto my channel. So that's pretty. I know I get a lot of traction on my disturbing movies reviews. So a lot of people like that kind of stuff. But yeah, we are just rolling through these Ash vs. Evil Dead episodes, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say, man, we're done almost. One more after this one.
Yeah, this is season 1, episode 9. So yeah, we've been rolling through these like crazy. But we'll kind of get into the episode. We'll kind of jump right into the episode here. I mean, this isn't, these episodes are, 25 to 30 minutes long, so they're not very, very long, but we'll kind of go over some of the commentary on it. We'll give you some commentary on it, kind of let you know what the episode's about. And like I said before, there are spoilers. So if you're not wanting to get the episode spoiled, go ahead and stop listening now. So yeah, the season 1, episode 9, it's called Bound in Flesh. This was directed by Tony Tilsey, which I think, didn't he direct the last episode as well?
Yes, he did. He actually did.
And what, do you know any of the stuff he's done?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, but just kind of a little bit of a recap. He's done a lot of TV in terms of directing, a lot of shows that I never really heard of. I can't really find anything besides, like, I don't know, nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm actually surprised because the last episode I really enjoyed a lot, and it was actually pretty well filmed for what it was. So
yeah, he's doing the new Wolf Creek. as a director. So
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Tony Tilsey is a director, and it was written by Rob Wright, which I don't know. Have you seen anything on him?
yeah, I actually don't. I've never heard of this guy before, and
Oh yeah, this guy is like co-executive produced like almost every episode of this series so far.
so this guy really hasn't done much. I mean, he wrote a few episodes of Walker Texas Ranger in 2002, some Charmed, some fucking Knight Rider. I guess there was a Knight Rider reboot series in 2008, 2009. I don't know. He did a few episodes of Grimm, and he's produced a bunch of Ash vs. Evil Dead. I have no idea anything about this guy, really.
He actually only produced one episode of Walker Texas Ranger called Blood Diamonds. I have to go back and just watch that one episode because I don't want to watch that show. And I probably won't even watch that episode. But yeah, this episode actually aired on December 26th of 2015. You got any viewership for this?
Yeah, the viewership was at 343,000, which is a significant amount lower in considering these episodes only get around 400,000 ish from what we've seen so far. So it is a little bit of a drop there.
Something I noticed that's funny about that is he had the second highest viewership for an episode, and he had the lowest viewership of an episode from what I could see. Actually, no, he didn't have the lowest. The second episode had the lowest.
The second episode
he's had one of the lowest. So yeah, it was a pretty significant drop. I mean, we had 465,000 the prior episode that he did, and then we could drop down to 340.
Yeah, which is almost like 100,000, over 100,000 difference.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but
yeah.
Yeah, this episode aired December 26th, the day after Christmas last year. And I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into the episode here. Like I said, we only got one more episode after this, which is the series finale, which is called The Dark One. So we do appreciate you guys following along with us and listening in. This has been a pretty interesting experience doing this newer TV show. So. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. This episode starts out exactly like every other episode, exactly where the last episode left off. Starts out with both of the evil Ash and normal Ash fighting each other, they're still fighting each other from the last episode. Pablo and Kelly, kind of run in to the cabin. They're still at the cabin, and they have no idea what the hell's going on. They're like, "What the fuck is this? What's going on? Why is there two of him?" And they're just really, really confused. They start kind of questioning both of them. Both of them kind of stand up and they're like, question him, kind of, asking them questions, or Ash is telling them things that only they should know. They're going back and forth. Finally, they just, right before the intro plays, they just shoot one of the Ashes because, you don't really know why at first, but they were kind of answering these questions like they knew. Wouldn't you say that they were answering the questions pretty on par for what was going on?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of bullshit the way it was like it would never happen, right? You would never take that big of a risk on something that's so gray, because even like the answers that both the Ashes were giving, like when they finally revealed like, oh well, the reason we shot him instead of you is because this and that and this and that, and I'm like, yeah, well, no, that wouldn't happen because it's way too fucking gray.
Yeah, and it was funny because I think the reason they didn't kill the real Ash is because he said he didn't say anything, or the evil Ash said something about not liking Asians or something about Asians, and Pablo was like, well, Ash was like, how did you know it was me? And Pablo was like, because you don't have anything against Asians. And then fucking Ash was like, why would I hate Asians? They have tiny little hands and they give good massages. I was just like, oh my god, that's like so like profile. They like profile.
Yeah, for sure. There's a little racism.
There is a lot of racism
jokes.
right there in this thing, but
they're always funny.
But yeah, at this point, the backpackers from the previous episode, there's three backpackers that met up with Kelly and Pablo. They come back, they end up at the cabin with Ash, and they want to spend the night. And Ash is like, no, that's not going to happen. They're going to turn into Deadites. He wants them gone. So Kelly and Pablo end up, Ash, kind of forms a plan. He's like, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to chop up this body. You guys take them to civilization. You guys basically just take them. There's, 13 miles up there's, some civilization, or 3 miles up there's a town. So, they start walking toward the town. And you see kind of another hint of, where Kelly is feeling very, I guess, romantic toward Pablo, because Pablo actually, they hear things in the woods, and Pablo actually grabs the one girl's hand that's with the backpackers, the one that
And
was
Kelly's like a straight jealous bitch, which is totally like a chick like Kelly, right? Like, don't
Yeah.
even notice you until you got the hots for another chick, and then they're all protective and want
She
to.
kind of looks that way, like she has that kind of
She
look.
does have that kind of look.
Yeah, like I could just look at her and be like, yeah, she's a kind of a jealous, overprotective bitch or something. I mean, she's hot, but but yeah, I mean, even the girl that Pablo holds her hand, she's hot too. But he holds the girl's hand, and Kelly kind of looks back with this go to hell look and kind of rolls her eyes. And then it kind of jumps back to Ash, and he's still in this cabin. He's cutting up his, the clone, the one, the hand that grew arms and legs and a head. He's cutting up the body. And as he's cutting up the body, the Necronomicon, which is the Book of the Dead, starts talking to him, because we all know this book has a face on the front of it, like a human face. It starts talking to him, and it's like, Ash, come play with me. You want me. I'm the only one that you want. Come read from me, basically. And Ash kind of is like, fuck you, no, I'm not doing that. And he takes the book and he like throws it into this, what is it, like a freezer, like a fridge, and like closes it. He goes, have fun, in there. And he closes the door on it. And then he goes back, and he was going to chop up Amanda's body, which was the cop, obviously, that got killed by Evil Ash, and it's gone. So we got Kelly, Pablo, and these backpackers in the woods, and we got Ash in the cabin, and Amanda obviously turned into a deadite, and she's gone.
Yep.
So a lot of stuff going on right here. Kind of cuts back to them walking through the woods, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kelly and Pablo start hearing noises. They start shooting into the woods, and they end up finding out it's like a raccoon. They killed a raccoon or something. And then the backpackers, two of the backpackers start saying they're going to go, they hear something else. They're going to go look and see what it is before they start shooting into the woods. And all of a sudden, evil Amanda comes out of the woods and just punches her hands through the back of their heads, which is like hilarious. And she like picks them up like a puppet, like both of them up like a puppet, and starts like using their mouths to talk, which was like really, I don't know, that shit just made me laugh. But yeah, like kills two of the backpackers. The only two or three people that are alive is the chick that Pablo kind of has a crush on, Kelly, and obviously Pablo. And the chick that Pablo has a crush on starts running through the woods, like she's scared to death. And falls over. Evil Amanda catches up with her. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, who shows up, JP?
Ruby.
Ruby. Yeah, she like does this like triple flip out of the fucking trees and like grabs evil Amanda and starts kind of like, fucking with her and, saying, I guess talking to her, kind of saying that, we could still be together, and like kind of threatening her with a knife, kind of like making fun of her. And, the girl starts screaming again. The evil Amanda had thrown the girl against a tree and she broke her leg, and the girl starts screaming because her legs broke, and evil Amanda just takes off and she's gone. So we got evil Amanda kind of gone, and we got Ruby, who meets up with Pablo, Kelly, and the other chick, the backpacker chick, and Ruby's like telling them that they need to bring her, her to Ash. Like she needs to see Ash, because what we find out is in the next scene is this cabin that the actual cabin is Ruby's cabin. That's her family's cabin. So she's like, "Where's Ash at?" And they're like, "The cabin." And she's like, "You need to bring me to Ash." Ruby basically ends up at the cabin with Ash. This is kind of toward the end of the episode here. This episode wasn't very long. Ruby's telling Ash how to destroy the Necronomicon, saying that he has to do all these certain things to destroy it, and wants him to pass it over to her. She wants to be the bearer of the Necronomicon, because she, it's her cabin. She wants to let the burden off Ash, basically. So she actually says that he has to cut off the face on the front of the Necronomicon, and then he has to pass the book over to her. So she cuts off the face Ash cuts off the face on the Necronomicon. He ends up passing it over to her, even though he kind of seems like he doesn't want to. And she starts reading from the book of the Dead. She starts reading from it. And what they think that she's doing is she's removing the evil, out of the world, or wherever it's at, the evil that Ash, brought into the world. And as she's reading, as she keeps reading,
Yeah, it seems like it's not going well. Like
it's not.
basically like okay, you would figure it'd be like rainbows and puppy dogs if you were like not like fucking dreading up some storms and grounds making noises and shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. She starts reading, and that the face that Ash cut off of the Necronomicon jumps up and gets on Pablo, and actually kind of sticks to Pablo's face. And then you kind of find out Ash tries to take the book away from Ruby, and she's like, "You can't have the book," and he's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because I wrote the book." So we find out that Ruby wrote the Necronomicon. We're in the cabin that her family has, and pretty much everybody's just screwed at this point. So, and the Necronomicon is on Pablo's face as well. So, that's pretty much where the episode ends. I mean, it's ends. We got the face on Pablo, and we got Ruby with the book, kind of summoning all these demons, saying that she wants the world to experience, this evil, not just this town. So we know that the world hasn't completely been infected yet. We just know that this town, as big as it is, has been. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Got anything for us, JP? I mean, about the episode, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how she says that she wrote the book. Like I thought she was what's her face's sister or something, and now I'm like, okay, so she's obviously possessed by like the original creator of the book.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to play out too, because it's kind of taken a left turn at this point. I didn't really think Ruby was going to be evil. I thought she may be like sort of evil, but not really. But apparently she's like super evil, and we find that out
when Pablo gets mask possessed. I totally thought of like Jim Carrey's.
Yeah, it looked exactly like the mask from the Jim Carrey movie. Yeah, it looked retarded, honestly. But I saw a preview at the end of this episode for the next episode for the season finale, and it actually showed like Pablo with that mask on it. It looks creepy as hell. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's gonna be. I'm pretty stoked to actually watch the final episode of this series, or the final episode of this season, to see how this is gonna play out. So, but yeah, man, you want to go ahead and get into some tiers?
Yeah, I guess if you're ready. I mean, there was a little bit of trivia and stuff.
Oh yeah, let's go over some trivia, man. Let's do it.
So before I get into trivia though, I gotta say that I like what they're doing, bringing it back to the cabin, and I was actually quite surprised to see that they're going to actually kind of like wrap it up there. I thought it would be just kind of a one episode thing, but it's quite a significant part of the show.
Yeah.
This final little cabin thing. And it really does feel very familiar to me. But at the same time, like there's moments where I'm like, it doesn't feel it's not as serious, but there's certain times where I just wish it would be serious. Like I understand that it's a comedy and stuff, but like there was one scene where like Ash is doing something and it cuts to Pablo and Kelly just like standing there, and to me it just felt like really unserious. Like you look at the original Evil Dead, like it was a horror movie. Like I just wish maybe they would do like one or two episodes that were like serious or something.
Yeah, and I think that the way that the Ash character goes, like in the previous, like I mean, you got Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. I think they ended up perceiving his character as a kind of goofy, stupid, guy, and I think that that's kind of where they're at with his character. I don't think his character could be serious, at all. And even with the Pablo Kelly characters, Kelly's could be serious, but Pablo is just he's kind of dumb like Ash, to be honest with you. I mean, he's smart at some things, but he's pretty much the same personality type as Ash. And I agree with you. I wish they could make some serious episodes out of this because of the gore factor, and the factor with the evil is kind of serious.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. It's just like I like it as its own thing, but just as a fan of the original Evil Dead, you just kind of wish that it was that sometimes, because like that was horror.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And at the end of the day, like I like comedy and stuff, but I like horror more.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love horror comedy, but at the end of the day, I'd rather watch a horrific movie or even a disturbing movie than a horror comedy. I mean, horror comedy is like more. I guess a lot of people nowadays that are getting into horror, they're really into horror comedy stuff, and I think that's the driving factor of them making so many horror comedy movies and like horror comedy TV shows like this, because people don't just want to be scared; they want to be able to laugh as well, and I think that's back in the day it used to not be like that, but now
Yeah.
it's more and more like that with the newer generation. So
I'm just hoping that like this show wraps up well, because I do like this episode and I have liked this series overall, but I think this is kind of a good area to end it, because we're going to be 10 episodes in now, and honestly, like, as much as I like it, I'm kind of content with it. Like, I don't need to. I feel like it's kind of doing the same thing every episode. I'm there for the story mostly. I just want to see where the story goes, but it takes such a long time to get there because it happens in such small increments.
episodes, yeah. I
Because
agree.
most of the episode isn't the story, right? You just get it's like at the beginning of the episode and like at the end of the episode you get story.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of I don't want to be negative on it, but I'm kind of over it a little bit. I do like the show. I don't want to sound like I don't like the show. It's fun. It's a blast. But at the same time, it's just the same over and over again.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm super interested in the story though. Like I want to see how the story plays out. So don't get it twisted as well.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I get bored with. I mean, not bored, but I get kind of, I guess, like annoyed with how slow paced it is at times, and the horror. The comedy aspect of it kind of gets a little overbearing at sometimes as well. But I am interested to see how it's going to play out, what's going to happen. I mean, I'm super interested, and hopefully, hopefully it'll turn out good, and maybe there'll be some like cool characters that'll show and things will happen. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Who knows? So
Yeah, but anyway, there's one little bit of trivia here that I had. The Necronomicon asks Ash, what do you think, you're going to be rich, or have a family, or be president? In season 2 of Fargo, Bruce Campbell played Ronald Reagan, who was elected president. So it's just kind of
funny.
a little funny thing.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, a little nod to the audience who knows Bruce Campbell, and that's kind of it. You want to get into tears?
Yeah, we'll get into tears. I guess you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I give this episode I've given most of these episode mid-tier ratings. I give it a mid-tier rating. I like the fact they're still at the cabin. I like the kind of funny humor aspect of the evil Ash versus the regular Ash, and how they were kind of being goofy about which one they should kill. I also like the fact that it showed a lot more of Ruby in this episode. So I'm going to give this episode a mid-tier rating, definitely, for sure. It wasn't anything special or anything that like is better. There wasn't really much that was better about this episode than any other previous episodes. I just still like the fact that they're at the cabin and they're kind of that most of the episode is going off of this cabin experience. So yeah, definitely give it a mid-tier rating.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm right with you. I give it a mid-tier as well. Pretty much the same thing you said. It was all right. It was a decent episode. Like I like that. We're finally getting to see what's up with Ruby. But again, it felt like there was a lot of filler in this episode. Just I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I'm just really hoping that something blows me away by the end of the show. Just so I could really can't wait for season 2. But right now I'm just like, okay, it's fun.
Next episode that we do, which is going to be the season finale, the dark one. I may talk about some of the episodes that I did like, that I did like a lot versus some of the ones I didn't like a lot in this series. We may talk a little bit about the entire season. Not in great detail or anything, but we may kind of go in and say kind of a lot of the things we liked about this season or the show so far, and maybe some of the things we didn't, and kind of a little bit more detail about that, but not too much. But that next week is the final episode of this season, of the first season. So everybody stay tuned for that, and just we appreciate you guys watching. Do you want to plug anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Just continue to check us out on the X-Files and the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror, all that good stuff. Horrorphilia, awesome that they host all our podcasts and stuff like that. And as for we'll get into like our kind of wrap up on this next episode when we get there, but we don't really know what we're gonna do. We're obviously gonna continue the X-Files, but I guess we'll talk about it next week. What we're gonna do. Also.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we'll kind of get into all that and fill you guys in. But yeah, definitely check our YouTube pages at the Horrorphile, DoubleShotJ. Let us know what you guys think. We post all these episodes on our YouTube channels as well as iTunes. So definitely check those out and let us know what you guys think. But other than that, man, yeah, I think we're done. And stay tuned until next week with the season finale.